for. One is peace and joy and contentment, which all of us want, and the other is material well-being and success. So the Bhagavad Gita, as you all know, is part of a great epic, the Mahabharata, written by a great sage, Vyasa. Now, the Mahabharata, if you say it's a beautiful necklace, the Bhagavad Gita is like the pendant. Pendant ka both importance hai, that's the most important part of the necklace. So the Bhagavad Gita, why it is important? Because it gives us the whole philosophy of life and living, which is Vedanta. The Vedanta philosophy is contained in the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita has 701 verses, it has 18 chapters, and it is a conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna. Now, how does the Bhagavad Gita help us in this modern age and time when it was written thousands of years ago? Now, this is an important point for us to note. Okay, as I told you, Vedanta is a science. Science ka matlab hai, do's and don'ts, beliefs. Abhi believe karo isme. You got to accept what I'm saying. No, it gives you laws, just as we are all sitting here because of law of gravitation. Newton may have given us the law of gravitation, but there's a law. That every object is attracted to the center of earth at 32 feet per second per second. This is a law. You can't change it, I can't change it. It's there. And it can be proved. Similarly, our masters, I'm talking about sitting in the Himalayas, they were studying, they were researching. We don't know. We are all busy, here living in our families and communities, making money, taking care of them. But some people, just as medicine you get, the shop, how did it come? From where did that medicine come? Don't say from the manufacturers. They made it. Somebody conceived, okay, this medicine will work for this problem. Who did it? Few scientists sat in a laboratory for years and years and years. Some of them died and didn't even find the solution. The others picked it up. After several attempts, they found out a medication that will help a particular disease. That you get in your shop. You're getting the ready-made product. But there's a whole effort behind that nobody knows who brought it out. By some people who spent whole life sitting in a laboratory. For us, very convenient, headache, put a tablet. But somebody has helped us to get that. Like that, these masters were sitting in the Himalayas, thinking, okay, why are people unhappy? Why do people fight with people? Where to find happiness? What is the meaning of life? So I give a small thought to think about. All of us are born into this world. We are all living here. You know what the only guarantee we have? Anybody can tell me what is the only guarantee we have? Or kuch nahi guarantee. We are born into this world. What is going to happen to every one of us? One day we have to go. There is no choice. There's nothing wrong, bad or wrong. Now, have we ever thought, when we go, what comes with us?
Nothing.
Not these, we can't say nothing, not what we have got here, not your money, not your name, not your fame. Ask your family, don't ask, but family members, anybody is coming? No. I love you, everything, we care for each other, all that is fine. When you go alone. Right? Has anybody thought when that will happen? Don't know. So what is the meaning? What are we doing here? Do we know the meaning of life? Why are we born human beings? Because human beings seem to be different from the rest of creation. We're different. We're not animals, we're not plants, we're humans. Why? So, when these questions come, there's no subject in school or university, there are no books available that explains the human being in full what is the meaning of being born a human being, why are you born a human being, what are you supposed to achieve in this lifetime, what is the purpose of life. Now, the Bhagavad, you asked me, what is this Bhagavad Gita? So this great text gives us all these answers. In particular, this is in general. In particular, as you all may be already aware, Arjuna was a prince, a commander-in-chief of the Pandava forces. And for 13 long years, he had planned that action to fight the battle. He didn't want to do it for himself. Then why was he fighting that battle? Because he had to help to bring back righteousness where there was anarchy. The Kauravas had taken over the whole community, and he had to plan a course of action to bring back righteousness. That was the only reason he was fighting the battle. He was not fighting it for himself. Yet he had a noble cause, good cause to fight for. He was a commander-in-chief, means well qualified to carry out the job. Everything was set, but at 0 hour, when he was about to begin the battle, he collapsed on the battlefield and said, I can't fight. His bounden duty as a Kshatriya. He was a soldier, but he said, nah, I cannot fight this battle. And he collapsed. And for one chapter, in fact, what is significant is we are starting with the second chapter of the Gita. Because the first chapter and 7 verses of the second chapter, Arjuna is constantly talking why they should not fight the battle to Krishna. That's what he was saying. He says, why are we doing this? My food will be soaked in the blood of my own kith and kin, his own cousins. His own master was there and great souls on the other side. He said, how can I do this? I cannot do this. He was confused. Though he had planned for such a long time, and it was for a righteous cause, good cause, not for his name, fame or wealth or anything selfish, yet at 0 hour he collapsed. And that's when Krishna, in the second chapter, after Arjuna offloaded all his doubts and confusion and said, please help me Krishna. That is when Lord Krishna started talking. And why we don't take up that part, because he gives the highest philosophy. You know what I was talking about, death is nothing. What are you afraid of death? It's like changing your clothes. One body is gone, second body comes. What are you worried about? There's several things Krishna tells Arjuna. And the end portion, which we are doing from this evening for 4 evenings, he talks about a very famous part of the Bhagavad Gita. It's called Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna means a person of steady wisdom. In other words, what is perfection in a human being? Is there something like perfection? And if there be so, what is it? So each one will say, my guru is perfect person. On what basis? No, he has only 2 sets of clothes, bas, or kuch nahi. Is that perfection? Maybe you have a stomachache. Maybe you have indigestion. We don't know. So each one has a concept of perfection. No, my guru is perfect because he eats 1 meal a day. 1 meal a day mein perfection ho jata. So each one has a concept. No, my guru is great because he sleeps on a hard bed. He doesn't talk, maun, doesn't talk anything. Each one has a concept of perfection, but here is a text that gives out reasons what is perfection. That is the portion we are going to be studying these 4 evenings. So ye jo hai, ye Bhagavad Gita hai, and like I said, it gives you all about life and living, and in particular, since Arjuna was a man of action, like anybody in the world, we're all active people in the world. Now some challenge comes, you could collapse. It could be death in the family, it could be health, it could be financial crisis. it could be a difficult boss. It could be so many things that makes us unhappy or stressed and we're not able to work. So here is a practical message for anybody who's active. Okay, how to face challenges in life in the right way. When I say right, you don't hurt others, you don't hurt yourself, but how to do it. It's an art, it's a technique. You've got to learn it, you've got to practice it, you've got to make it perfect. And that is what the Bhagavad Gita is telling people of today's world. So, though it was written thousands of years ago, what is important for us to note is these are principles, laws of life and living. If you apply it, you will be benefited.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that was beautiful in terms of how I understand.
Right. Thank you.